Welcome back. I'm Nate Hanson here to take a look at your sports. The ball exit speed off an aluminum bat was 9 miles per hour faster than that of wood. The Hounds went 22-4 last year, and that brought high expectations for this year. The sweepstakes for free agent second baseman Robinson Cano continues to heat up. The Seattle Seahawks' quest for an undefeated season came to an end yesterday. Harvin was limited in action, but made this spectacular catch. Now the National Federation of High Schools actually adopted the NCAA standards last year. Quarterback Connor Halliday threw for 319 yards and 2 touchdowns. WSU men's basketball team will host USC tomorrow. WSU's women's volleyball team hits the hardwood tonight. Keenan Allen had 107 receiving yards, including this touchdown in the second quarter. They say it's a tradition unlike any other, and yesterday the Masters proved why. And that's all the sports I have for you tonight.
The Pullman High School boys basketball team is back at state for the second year in a row. Murrow News reporter Nate Hanson is live in the control room with more on the story. Nate?
Nick, the Hounds went 22-4 last year, and that brought high expectations for this year. But instead of faltering under the pressure, they stepped up to the challenge. The Pullman Greyhounds haven't lost a game in 3 months. It's been a season head coach Craig Brantner will always remember.
Right now, 24 straight wins. How can you forget something like that when you go on a roll like that?
The Hounds avenged their only loss of the season last Saturday by defeating Ellensburg in the regional round of 16.
The best win of the season for us, and really satisfying to get that win, especially, like you said, they beat us the first game.
Being ranked second in the state could give a team a false sense of confidence, but the Hounds have stuck with the program day in and day out.
And I thought that our kids did a great job of taking a game, one game at a time, and staying focused all year and really coming out and playing hard.
The Hounds are led by senior Corey Langerveld, who averages nearly 22 points per game.
Well, you know, I think Corey's the leader on and off the court. The kids follow him, and if they don't, he asks them to.
Langerveld and 5 of his teammates were on the team that made it to the state final 8 last year and finished 6th. This time they have higher expectations.
Last year we went into it a little nonchalant. We were just a little satisfied with actually being there. And I think this year, you know, we're going there with a goal, a purpose.
Langerveld couldn't help but smile when asked about the possibility of being a state champion.
I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I can't even imagine it, but that would be crazy. That would definitely be the most satisfying basketball experience I've ever had.
The Hounds will take on Burlington Edison tomorrow in Yakima in a state quarterfinal matchup. And as the game will also be broadcasted on Hit Radio 104.3 at 9 a.m. Back to you at the desk, Nick.
Nate Hanson reporting live from the control room. Thanks, Nate.
College baseball is in full swing, which means the ping sound in the spring air is back. We go now to Nate Hanson live in the control room, who has more on WSU's best-kept sports secret. Nate, what exactly are we looking at?
Well, Danny, hiding in one of the many buildings on Engineering Hill is WSU's Sports Science Laboratory, and you may be surprised to learn the national role it plays in baseball bat testing. They say the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. Well, how about catching a scorching line drive traveling over 100 miles per hour right back at you only 60 feet away? Fortunately, this pitcher was able to get his glove up just in time, but others have not been so lucky. Over the past decade, WSU's Sports Science Laboratory has become a nationwide leader in measuring the power of metal bats to limit such dangerous plays from occurring.
The industry found that the bats were performing so well that the pitchers didn't have time to react, that home runs were astronomical. So in order to keep the game both safe and fun, they decided to lower that performance a little bit.
The lab began by testing bats for the Amateur Softball Association of America. In 2011, it began tests for the NCAA. That's the year the NCAA changed how it measures the power of a bat. Under this new standard, called BB Core, bat makers found they had to depower the bats they were supplying.
There was definitely a struggle at first when changing to BBCOR. You're lowering the performance.
By the old standard, bats were rated purely on the exit speed of a ball. That, though, did not take into account the fact that composite bats get more powerful with use.
We're getting closer and closer to the performance of wood.
According to a 2001 study, the ball exit speed off an aluminum bat was 9 miles per hour faster than that of wood. With the new regulations developed by the NCAA, that speed off the bat has decreased by 6 miles per hour, giving pitchers a better opportunity to protect themselves.
Yeah, the BBSOR is a slightly lower performing bat than the BESR, and it has good reason to be, and that's to keep the game safe as a number one and fun as well.
A 2007 North Carolina case study concluded that wood bats are 3 times less dangerous to pitchers. Still, Ken Sred does not believe the NCAA will make the switch to wood anytime soon.
Yeah, the durability of metal and composites, I guess, outperforms a wood bat.
The new standard has transformed college baseball into a new game favoring pitchers.
I hear a lot of coaches, players, and read articles from various sources, and they have all said, yes, there has been a drastic change.
During the 2011 season, home runs dipped by 42%. Runs also fell by 20%. These numbers have stayed consistent through this season. Only time and research will be able to tell if the new standard limits plays like this. Now, the National Federation of High Schools actually adopted the NCAA standards last year because of the success in the college game. And although the future of bat testing is unknown, one thing that can be certain is that WSU Sports Laboratory will be involved. Back to you at the desk, Danny.
Nate Hanson live from the control room. Thanks, Nate.
Welcome back. I'm Nate Hanson here to take a look at your sports. The Robinson Cano sweepstakes have come to an end, and he'll be spending the next 10 years of his career wearing a Seattle Mariners jersey. ESPN reports Cano agreed to a 10-year, $240 million deal with the team this morning. Yes, you heard that right, 240 million big ones. The contract is tied for the second largest in Major League Baseball history. The 31-year-old Cano is a 5-time All-Star and has spent his entire career with the New York Yankees. The Mariners got their guy, and so did the Washington Huskies. The university announced in a news release this morning that Chris Peterson will be the new head football coach. Peterson was 92-12 in his 8 seasons with Boise State, including 2 BCS Bowl wins. He'll replace Steve Sarkisian, who accepted the head coaching job at USC on Monday. Quarterback coach Marcus Tuiasosopo will coach the Huskies during its bowl game. And speaking of bowls, the bowl wait for Kook fans is almost over. The bowl selection show airs Sunday night at 6 on ESPN. The Cougs finished this season with a 6-6 record, which puts them on the bubble for a bowl game. 70 teams will compete in the 35 various bowls this winter. Right now, there are 76 bowl-eligible teams. And moving to the NFL, the Houston Texans lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars last night, 27-20. This morning, the team announced it fired head coach Gary Kubiak. The Texans have lost 11 games in a row and have the worst record in the NFL. Kubiak had a 61-64 record as Texans coach since he took the job in 2006. Defensive coordinator Wade Phillips will coach the team for the remainder of the season. And the Seattle Seahawks had a dominating 34-7 win on Monday Night Football, but they have no time to celebrate. They go on the road this Sunday to take on divisional rival, the San Francisco 49ers. The Hawks beat the 49ers 29-3 in Week 2 of this season. The Hawks had the best record in the NFL, and a win against the 49ers would clinch the division for Seattle. Kickoff is at 1:30 on Sunday. And the groups for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil were announced this morning. Unfortunately for Team USA, it appears as if they're in the toughest group. They are joined in the Group G by Germany, Portugal, and Ghana. All 4 teams reached the round of 16 in the 2010 World Cup, and Germany finished 3rd. Ghana has beat the U.S. in the last 2 World Cups. The tournament begins in June. And let's finish off sports with the Cougs. WSU's men's basketball team will make the short trip across the border to take on the University of Idaho tomorrow. The battle for the Palouse is one of the oldest rivalries in college basketball. The Cougars are 3-4 this year, and the Vandals 4-4. Tip-off is at 7 p.m., and the game can be seen on SWX. And when we come back, some charitable ways to celebrate the holiday season. Stay tuned.